The Supreme Court will pronounce judgment in 66 crores disproportionate assets case in a week, and this could be a headache for Sasikala Natarajan, who's set to be the Chief Minister of the state. Now remember, Jayalalitha and Sasikala are co-accused in this case. The matter was reserved with the Apex Court in 2016. And with the verdict likely to be announced in just about a week, this is India Today exclusive news break that we are getting you, which could spell out trouble for Sasikala Natarajan. Because if she is now anointed as the Chief Minister, with reports coming in as soon as 9th of February, the Supreme Court's verdict will have a great impact on her leadership. If it goes against her, then will she also resign like her mentor, and will be a big embarrassment for the AIADMK. Let me go across to my colleague Anusha Soni, who's getting us more details. So, Anusha, a week's time and a lot of nervous moments for Sasikala Natarajan that we're looking at before the Supreme Court's observation.
Absolutely, Ravina, and this judgment will have huge implications for the entire political party and also for Sasikala, who was made one of the co-accused in this matter. Now, what's interesting is that the state of Karnataka, represented by Counsel Dushyant Dave, came forward and cited delay, that this judgment has not come forward, and there is an urgent situation that should be looked into by the Apex Court, and the judgment should be given. Justice P.C. Ghosh, who's part of the bench who heard the matter, said that the court is likely to pronounce its verdict within a week. We must also tell our viewers that these are matters of discretion for the court, and this is also an informal assurance by the court, given to the councils. But most likely within a week, we should have a judgment on the disproportionate assets.
And the trial has been going on for a long time. The DMK lost its power to Jaya in 2001. In 2003, it requested the court proceedings outside Tamil Nadu after doubting a fair trial under her rule. So the case was transferred to Karnataka. 2010, when Jaya's counsel argued that the officers were running the proceedings were not competent to run the case, the Supreme Court had dismissed the appeal as withdrawn. 2012, we had Karnataka advocate who resigned as a special public prosecutor from the DA trial. He told reporter he was being pressurized by the state government. That was a grave allegation in 2012. So right now, Anusha, what are the possibilities we're looking at?
Well, Ravina, it's only conjecture that we can talk about right now here. But, once again, the political implications of it. Suppose if the Apex Court comes down and disagrees with the verdict of the High Court, which gave relief to Jayalalitha and others, it will be a huge embarrassment, as you said, for the AIADMK and other political leaders of the party. And also the legacy of Jayalalitha would be tampered if the Supreme Court does not decide in her favor. This was a lengthy trial which went on for months. Clearly, big legal luminaries were involved in this matter. The stakes are very high for the legacy of Jayalalitha, for the party, and even for the rival opposition parties in this case.
All right. In fact, there have been key turning points also of this case. So be with me, Anusha. In 2011, Chief Minister was undergoing trial in a court, invited massive criticism that how can a Chief Minister undergo a trial in a court. 2014, when the Supreme Court resumed the trial and dismissed the plea from Jaya seeking to abate the case. Again, the same year, the special court convicted all four, including Jaya, guilty. It also imposed fine of 100 crore rupees on Jayalalitha. Following this, Jaya was moved to a prison, and that's where the turning point of her tenure was, because O. Paneerselvam took a charge. And now, if Sasikala Natarajan is again convicted, and mind you, this is only a conjecture at this moment, then it will be a major embarrassment for the chief ministerial appointee of the party. So major political implications, as Anusha has been pointing out. So Anusha, take us through the arguments that have been made in the case so far.
Well, this case has been quite interesting as far as the churning of the numbers is concerned. The amount, if you look at, has not been very high. It's a case which is about 20 odd years old. The plea was initiated by none other than the friend turned foe, Subramaniam Swamy. And it was about, thousands of pairs of shoes, clothes, and some cash which was found at her residence. Now, if you look at it 20 years later, in hindsight, you'll realize that this amount, this sum of money was not as much. However, it has proved to be a big legal challenge for Jayalalitha and now her legacy and her entire party. The High Court, in fact, when it delivered its verdict, it said that if you actually total and sum up the numbers, it does not make up for the so-called disproportionate assets, and it could well be computed within her income. However, we'd have to wait and watch what is the way in which the Supreme Court will look at it. Many legal experts have pointed out that the way in which the High Court had looked at the numbers, the way in which the High Court had reasoned the entire matter was not correct. Now, these are arguments, these are criticisms that are allowed, even if it's a court verdict. But the word of the Supreme Court will be final. Legacy of Jayalalitha and the political future of Sasikala is at stake right now.
Absolutely, and it was a momentous occasion also. After 3 weeks she spent in jail, Jayalalitha came out in October 2014 and then May 2015, where Karnataka High Court acquitted her of all charges, and that's when Jaya returned to power. That's when also her health started deteriorating, many have said, from that point onwards. But as Anusha has been pointing out, the case timeline has been quite interesting as well. Because with Jaya, it was Sasikala Natarajan also who's been mentioned as co-accused. And how it will now play out in Tamil Nadu politics within a week. Nervous moments till now. Already there have been doubts that have been raised on Sasikala Natarajan's political elevation, with legal shadow of DA case over her head. And Anusha, as you're pointing out, in 2012, Special Public Prosecutor B.V. Acharya had resigned, courting efforts to transfer him. He had said there is an undue pressure. And Karnataka government even removed another prosecutor, G. Bhavani Singh, who was appointed. Supreme Court reinstating him as well. So this trial has been a long one. It's been about more than a decade. It's seen over a decade, in fact, and it's seen many political twists and turns, with Sasikala Natarajan being at the center of it yet another time. But is this going to be now the final verdict, or is there a possibility once again that the DA case could churn out and it could be challenged by the state government? Is there a possibility that this case will see its final verdict from Supreme Court, or is there a road ahead?
Well, Ravina, this is a criminal matter. Of course, even after the Supreme Court delivers a verdict, there are ways to file a review on the curative petition. However, these petitions have very limited scope. Over 95% of such petitions are dismissed by the Supreme Court. This judgment will be one of the last nails in this entire legal battle that has gone. It will be the last page which will be turned. The disproportionate assets case will see its logical conclusion when the Supreme Court within 1 week delivers its verdict. Of course, people can come forward, political, whosoever is, under stress by the verdict can say that they'll go ahead and, try and take some legal routes and options. But the truth of the matter is that this judgment by the Supreme Court will be the final judgment. Yes, they can file a review. Yes, they can file a curative. But those are very marginal, peripheral remedies which are available in law. As far as the appeal against the verdict is concerned, that will be, exhausted after this verdict.
So this will be the final showdown that Sasikala Natarajan will be seeing as far as DA cases are concerned in the Supreme Court, as Anusha is pointing out. The case which has seen many turns. The case that's gone on from 1996, so it's been over 2 decades that Jayalalitha has also borne the brunt of various Supreme Court, various court judgment, pardon me. But right now, Anusha, be with me. Akshay Nath also joining us. So Akshay Nath, it seems that Supreme Court sword hanging over Chinnamma at a time when her own party cadre has been nervous about her elevation. How will it play out for the AIADMK party? What's the strategy that the party is mulling at the moment?
Well, Devina, it's a huge step if at all the Supreme Court gives its verdict next week. It will be a huge step both for the AIADMK party as well as Sasikala, because this is the verdict that we have been waiting for more than 1 year now. Last June, July, it was supposed to be out, but then we saw that how former Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha's health had caused the delay, and now again when Sasikala is going to take up the position, when she's going to become the Chief Minister, a post that she's been looking for quite some time, when this is going to happen, if the verdict comes out, it is going to be a huge step for the AIADMK. I'm also joined here by senior journalist T.S. Sudhir. Sir, how will this pan out for the party and the party cadres? You're seeing that there are opposition among the party itself. We've seen that MP P. Kannan has already resigned from his post. So there is opposition, and now with the DA case, how will it reflect?
Well, I don't know whether the disproportionate assets case is going to be really the trigger, but if it actually comes out within days of her getting sworn in as the next Chief Minister, it could definitely lead to a huge number of consequences, especially if she is convicted. What the AIADMK sources are saying is that Jayalalitha also was in the case. She was accused number one, yet there was nobody preventing her or stopping her from being chief minister, being sworn in as chief minister after her election in May 2016. So why should that be held against Shashikala? But yes, if the Supreme Court verdict comes in the DA case, either way, it could actually either strengthen Shashikala's case if she's acquitted, but if she's convicted, we are again looking at a huge amount of political instability in Tamil Nadu, and if she is convicted, it will also mean that there is no stable second-rung leadership in the AIDMK, and that's where leaders like Thambidurai will actually try to jostle their positions, because Thambidurai has been at the forefront telling Shashikala that she should step up and become the chief minister. So is Thambidurai playing a different kind of game? We do not know, but yes, given his stature in Delhi, he could again be in the running if she is convicted. So definitely the pros and cons of what happens as a result of the Supreme Court verdict will be very interesting to watch.
So we've already seen that there is a Deepa faction of the AIADMK that's coming up. If there's a negative remark or a negative verdict from the Supreme Court, then are we to see another split here? Because we know that O. Pannirselvam has been the very faithful person for Jayalalitha as well as Shashikala now, and Thambidurai on the other side, as you were mentioning, has been playing his own strategy. So are we going to see another split in the party again?
Well, I don't know whether to call it a split or whether it will splinter, because at this point in time, Shashikala, because of her proximity to Jayalalitha for over 3 decades, has been the glue for the AIDMK to stand together, because there is no other leader who has a pan-AIDMK acceptability. Point number 2, the power till May 2021 is a even more stronger glue for the entire AIDMK to stand together. If Shashikala gets convicted, should that happen, that will lead to many more people actually jostling for some kind of positions of power, positions of supremacy within the AIDMK. And that's where again the family tree of Shashikala will come into question, because there are leaders within the AIDMK who do believe that leaders like Dr. Venkatesh or individuals like Dr. Venkatesh or TTV Dinakaran or her brother Divakaran are people who could have some kind of a say in the future of AIDMK. But if she gets convicted, it will be very difficult even for this family tree, the family members, to hold them together. So a lot of speculation again if she gets convicted, but again the Supreme Court verdict is definitely going to be another googly in the political theatre of Tamil Nadu.
Well, Divina, it is seen that it is a tough situation for the people of Tamil Nadu. Their elected leaders are still in an uncertainty to decide who will be leading the state. And with one person's name right now, which is Shashikala out there, is going to become the chief minister. The big question is, will the DAK's verdict bring in another downfall for the people of Tamil Nadu?
Not only that, Akshayanath, also after Jay's demise, if there will be an impact now, playing out the first political reactions coming in.
I have been joined by DMK leader Mr. TVKS Ilangovan. Sir, first and foremost, your reaction as to the situation which is panning out in Tamil Nadu. Shashikala all set to be the chief minister of Tamil Nadu.
Yeah, see, that is the fate of Tamil Nadu. The person who was, the people who was not elected, she is not elected as per the mandate of the people. Mandate of the people was for the ADMK and Jayalalitha. Now that she was never holding any party position, she was not even an MLA, she was not in active politics. Now she becoming the chief minister may not be acceptable to the people, and it is not the wish of the people of Tamil Nadu. So I think the crisis is just beginning.
Sir, Shashikala Pushpa has in the past also raised certain question marks, and now also she's raising question on the entire process. She's saying that she will be going to High Court also on the matter, because somewhere Shashikala is not part of DMK. She hasn't fulfilled the criteria which is mentioned in their constitution of the party.
Yeah, that was a question raised by her. The specific rule is that the party's rules and regulations is that somebody who to become the general secretary of their party should have a continuous should be a member continuously for at least 5 years, but Shashikala was suspended for quite a long time, so that continuity is not there. That is a legal question which the party cadres can challenge and get relief for that.
There are petitions being signed also. 20,000 people have said that they don't want Shashikala as the chief minister because they didn't vote it, and more people are joining it. What to make of it, sir?
Definitely, that shows how the people of Tamil Nadu, the party cadres, are angry with the way Shashikala is elected.
Final question, what next? What is DMK is going to do as far as this entire controversy is concerned?
We will function as an opposition. We have been functioning as an opposition. We will function as an opposition and expose the government's failure.
But you think that Shashikala should not take over as the chief minister?
No, that is an internal party affair which we are not interested in going into. It will see, we want the party to fall on its own. Why should we unnecessarily try for that?
But more and more AIADMK MLAs are coming out and showing support towards Shashikala.
The party, if the ADMK consists only of 134 MLAs, then it is okay. They claim that they have got 1.5 crore members. Well, what is the mindset of the members? They should understand.
What is the sentiment at ground zero? You have just come back from Tamil Nadu. What is the sentiment at the ground zero?
Nothing. Nobody is happy. That much is very obvious.
What about the bureaucrats? We saw 3 bureaucrats being shunted before she took over.
Yeah. See, these are all bureaucrats who work for the government. See, whoever the chief minister, whoever the minister, the bureaucrat has their own duties to do. So these people were special secretaries to the chief minister, earlier chief minister. Now maybe the new incumbent wants to have somebody fresh hands.
Final question. What will be the role of Natarajan? How do you see it? That controversial figure, Mr. Natarajan, husband of Shashikala.
I don't know. See, that family is controlling the whole party. That family is controlling all the affairs of the party. That family is controlling the business, government's business also. So Natarajan has a role to play because he was playing a role throughout. Jayalalitha's career as chief. That is why in the Wealth case also, the other members who were accused, the accused 2, 3, 4 were all from one family.
That is what the DMK is saying, that the crisis has just started in AIADMK. With this, Rajiv Srivastava, Supriya Bharadwaj for India Today in Delhi.
And it's the legal hurdle as well for Sasikala Natarajan, which could prop up